My first question goes to you, Mr. Nekrassov. So, since Iran reached a deal with 6 world powers regarding its nuclear facilities, the country has seen its influence re-emerging as a new star in the region. Some call it a new heavyweight, a possible heavyweight in the region. Now, its neighbors have been struggling to maintain their countries in one pieces. Your president is now visiting Tehran, meeting with Khamenei and Rouhani. So what does this mean? What is Russia's intention?
Well, first of all, we must remember that the invasion of Iraq and then the intervention in Libya have upset this fine balance that we had before, especially Iraq invasion. And some people might say it was bad balance, but it was a balance that prevented conflict and the death of many, many thousands of people. I think what now is going on is that Russia is trying to revive some sort of balance in the region, because what some countries are trying to do, the West and its allies, is they're trying to sort of create a situation where their allies have an advantage. So Putin's role, of course, it has to do a lot with trade, it has to do a lot with other things, but he would try to somehow, I think, revive that old, well, not old, but revive a balance that will help stabilize the whole region. And I think he has quite a task on his hands. I think Iran's role as a heavyweight in the Middle East has not yet been obvious, because the sanctions have not been lifted. I think this talk about Iran becoming a serious player is misguided in a sense, because of course, yes, with Russia's help, it is playing a major role in Syria and across the region, but it's not that same role that would be, we could say, oh yes, Iran is back, Iran is projecting its influence across the board. I think the Saudis and the others in the region would do anything possible to prevent that. I think the Americans will assist them in that. And I hope that President Putin and the Iranian leadership will find common ground on some issues, and they will develop a sort of a strategy that will help them save Syria from sliding into the same abyss as it happened with Libya.
And let's talk about the Syrian crisis later. But
situation.
First and foremost, you have talked about the possibility of Iran becoming a major regional player, a heavyweight in the region. So, Mr. Marandi, Iran certainly has the determination to become somebody in the region. It has the population and it has the GDP very closer to the traditional heavy player of Saudi Arabia. So do you think Iran is the new star? What do you see this?
I think Iran's importance has increased gradually over the past 3.5 decades since the revolution, because it is the only independent power in the region. But after the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, the pace of that rise has increased, ironically, due to American policy. And in recent years, we see a huge shift taking place, especially after Syria. And we see that the United States aligned itself with the Saudis and the Turks, and they supported extremists such as Al-Qaeda and Al-Qaeda affiliates in order to overthrow the Syrian government, yet they failed. And Saudi Arabia, the Turks, and Qatar and others are also failing in Yemen, where they launched a very brutal war against the people of Yemen, and they failed there as well. So we see not only Iran rising, but we see countries and peoples aligned to Iran in the region, whether it's in Yemen, which has a very large population, larger than that of Saudi Arabia, in Syria and in Iraq, as well as Afghanistan. Many parts of Afghanistan rely on Iran for their security. So we see a growing coalition, a new order in this region.